Eddie, you've got to choose our fighter, your career, on an app, because I want that.
You just live it.
I want that. You have to sleep with one eye open. State's cornerman, not crazed promoter, because I always wanted to be a star.
Eddie, great to see you. As always, things thriving, 2025, fantastic stuff ahead. How's your business strategy evolved over the last few years?
I've never won and never been one to kind of like sit down and strategize and evaluate and like, just like graft, like keep consistently doing the right things.
You've got on your toes, haven't you, all the time?
Yeah, I said, this is like with the Dana White stuff coming in and stuff like that. You have to sleep with one eye open, right, in this game. And that's part of the buzz, to be honest with you. You're not dealing with normal people. You're not always dealing with people with integrity and honor and loyalty.
What's the riskiest decision you've made that has paid off?
Probably leaving Sky, if I'm honest. At the time where we were with Sky, we had a US deal with DAZN, as you remember, and then it was working quite nicely. We had our UK shows on Sky, DAZN weren't in the UK, and we were faced with that decision of, the institutionalized benefit of being with Sky Sports, which was an incredible broadcaster, great platform, versus the aggressive nature of a boxing platform that with the people behind it, I just felt was the future of broadcast and would enable us to exist and expand globally at speed. I guess that was a gamble. Financially it wasn't a gamble, but it's one now that I look at.
Do you think that now DAZN is not only the home of boxing for 2025, but for the future too?
Yeah, I think there's never been a platform like it, has there? It's DAZN, it's this new, he said, what, so, is it like HBO? I'm saying, no, it's an app. And he's like, what's an app? And I'm thinking, fuck, I can sell anything, but this is hard. And then they're going back to Al Heyman or whoever and saying, I met this guy, Eddie Hearn, and he said, you're gonna put your career on an app, yeah? I thought DAZN was great value before they signed the deal with Queensberry. Now you've got Frank Warren on there and all their talent. So, yeah, I think they're in a wonderful position.
Biggest mistake that you've made maybe early in your career, and what did it teach you?
I don't know whether it's a mistake. Definitely jumping in the ring early for Froch against Butte. It was
one of the great memories.
There is a rule with the IBF that if a cornerman, which obviously I'm not, stands on the canvas, your fighter could be disqualified. Yep. I remember actually going up to my dad in the ring because I knew that rule. He went back, checked the IBF rules. It states cornerman, not crazed promoter. I remember Don King phoned me and he went, Eddie, you got to choose our fighter. What was it, Trevor Bryan. Like, this guy was so far away from world class, yeah. And it was a horrific mismatch. Yeah. If I put him with AJ. He said, you got this guy, Trevor Bryan, looks great, blah, blah. I said, Don, it's a mismatch. He said, why are you going with Andy Ruiz? I went, it's a good fight. He went, yeah, but he looks terrible. And I guess looking back, it was a dangerous fight, but one that we felt at that time, AJ was good enough to come through. And I thought, I've always been quite aggressive with my matchmaking because I didn't want to go to Madison Square Garden and watch AJ in a mismatch. Kell had beaten Sean Porter in an incredible fight. Incredible performance. Probably one of the best performances from a British fighter. And as you know, Kell's temperament and Kell's lifestyle out of the ring really hindered where he could have got to, in my opinion. And when he had the incident, in Fuerteventura, and he came back and he fought Jojo Dan, there wasn't a welterweight unification or a big unification that could get made. And I worried with Kell that we would miss the boat to give him the payday that would secure his future. I also knew that his days at 147 were really pretty much done. That was a decision that I made more because I knew that Kell was not uncontrollable to a point where I didn't have the confidence that this kid would be around in 6 months to make sure that he was ready for a big fight. One of those moments where we were waiting on Chris Eubank Jr. and it's got to be Barry McGuigan because he commentated on my fight with Nigel Benn. I'm like, what are you talking about? Anyway, we waited. They never signed. And I was just sitting there and I just thought, you know, maybe Kell should take it. Yeah, he made a lot of money. I don't think it was like, you know, ruined his career. But, you know, unfortunately, he got stopped in the fight after actually a great few rounds.
You almost talked there about your Carl Froch and the emotion. How do you deal with it? I know as a commentator it's hard, right? You have to be totally unbiased. How easy is it to sort of not cross over that line and jump in the ring all the time?
It's not tough because I want that.
You just live it.
I want that. And say unfortunately, it's a blessing, but we have over 100 fighters. You can't have the same relationship with every fighter. And as you know, some managers don't want you to have that relationship with the fighter because they feel like they will become redundant. I like sitting down with a fighter and planning their future with them. I don't want to go into a change room before a fight and go, good luck, mate, and they sort of look at me and we don't really know each other. So my favourite moments, my favourite journeys have all been in those situations where you would, you know, genuinely take a bullet for certain individuals.
Eddie Hearn, you know, talking about you as the next coming, that does bring pressure, but you seem to be the sort of guy that would enjoy that, take that on your shoulders and roll with it.
100%, yeah. I've had a good amateur pedigree. I've given boxing my life ever since a kid, so it's all a no. So this is the position where I always knew I would get to, and I'm here now, and I've just got to keep my eyes on the prize, and as long as I keep winning and one step at a time, I'll get to where I need to get to.
But you're turning pro and you're headlining the event for Matchroom live on DAZN. I mean, it doesn't get much bigger. Is that a good thing, do you think, to headline and be there for all your fans, or do you think actually I should be further down the bill?
To me, I just look at it as just this is a great opportunity, and it's a great story to tell afterwards.
Oleksandr Usyk fans who cleaned up at cruiserweight and then, of course, has cleaned up at heavyweight. Inspiration to you? Do you want to sort of think of, wow, I could try and follow in those sort of footsteps?
Oh, 100%. Yeah, I've been watching Usyk many years. When he was in the amateurs, I used to just study his amateur fights all the time, and even though he's a southpaw, I used to still watch him, and I think he's a true boxing great, and the way he comes across as well, that's what boxing's about, being a gentleman, and he's a killer in the ring, but he's respectable outside the ring, and that's what boxing is, and it should be about.
What are the goals? Have you set yourself those year by year?
So short-term goal, win every fight that comes my way, be busy, get that experience in, become a world-class athlete, then take out those middle operators that are hanging around who are trying to get to the top 10, get onto the top 10, and then become long-term goal, become world champion.
And do you believe you've got the tools, you've got something special about you that's going to propel you to that level?
I believe I've got the dog in me, I believe I've got the skills, I believe I've got the intelligence, and I believe that I've got the team behind me to take me all the way to the top.
You're really lighting up the scene. Matchroom have got hold of you, Eddie Hearn. There's no better talker in the business. So, and you've got a great team around you with Anthony, obviously, and all the wisdom. So, do you think you've got what it takes and the ingredients to go a long way in this sport?
I believe I do. I believe I've got everything. Tickets, speak well, and I fight well. I believe they're the three main ingredients from a raw core that you need for a fight or to really take over something. And I've got them all in abundance, and I'm letting performance speak for himself, and now I'm on the brink. I know boxing, I've been around it all of my life with Anthony. I'm a few stoppage wins away from being a serious name in this country in people's mouths. I've said it I'm not going to sit here saying I'm a multi-weight world champion, I'll win this and that. I'm going to win the British title, and I'm going to take it from there. But I will 100% win the British title. It's my dad's favourite belt, and I want it.
Yeah, with the fan base, the Corolla name, the Eddie Hearn magic as well. You got it all. It's down to you now.
Yeah, it's literally, I've got it all set there. It's all on a string. It's just up to just better not fuck it up. That's how it is. It's all there on a string from it, and that's it. And I plan on doing big things with it.
How do you feel you're going to progress over the next 2 or 3 years?
I believe if I get the right fight at the right time, I'll reach the very top. But you know, this didn't happen overnight. I believe I've settled in as a professional now, matured a lot. And when I first came on the scene, I was very excitable. Wasted a lot of energy, maybe didn't do my weight right, and you know, it was just a whirlwind signing with Eddie. But I believe now I've settled down, matured a bit, and you know, with regards to this fight, it's been built twice before, so I needn't say any more.
What would you say to Eddie, the reason to get behind me? What are those USP things about you, Cameron?
I've got everything: IQ, box on the inside, box on the outside. I'm smart, can move my feet. I believe I'm the full package, and I believe as time goes on, the more experience I get, the more people will realise that.
Nothing out there that frightens you?
No, like I said.
Because a friend of mine tells me sharks aren't your favourite thing.
Oh, I'm terrified of sharks. Outside the boxing ring, sharks, snakes.
Plenty of sharks in the boxing world.
Yeah, I've heard people say that.
Keep away from sharks.
No, I fear no man. I've shared the ring with some of the best fighters in the world.
Will you become a world champion, Cameron?
100%. Mark my words, I will be a world champion.
What's crazy is I never had a contract with those people. You remember? Like, it was just, I was naive enough to not have a contract. I'm talking about Katie Taylor, I'm talking about Bellew, I'm talking about Froch, I'm talking about Brook, I'm talking about Barker, I'm talking about Corolla, I'm talking, all of our key talent never had a contract with them because I just trusted in our relationship. And I never lost any of them. The only one I lost was Carl Frampton. But my relationship with Tony, I know Tony would do anything for me, and vice versa. So I'm now thinking, wow,
It's almost family, isn't it?
Yeah, but this guy's just basically, he's put all his trust in me to do the best for him. You know, and it's very difficult when you don't have him under contract to then reverse and get him to sign a contract.
I remember the animosity, the hate for Frank Warren, and now you're with him and you're under the same umbrella. Do you ever think that would really happen?
No. I mean, probably the one thing that I would have said in my career and my life with absolute certainty was that I'll never work with Frank Warren. But he applied so much pressure to me during that period. It actually moulded me as an operator, a promoter, and maybe even as a person, to sustain that pressure, to have that resilience, and to come out the other side. Because what Frank is the best applier of pressure ever. So you sign a fighter, and there were legal disputes, and you know, boom, next day, legal letter. I'm sitting here now at this point. I'm, you know, my early 30s. I've got a few quid, and I'm like, you start to ask yourself, do you really need this aggravation? And my answer was yes. I don't know why. I remember when we signed Carl Frampton, and then he joined Frank Warren, and something came up on Twitter that said something like, rumour. So then I've had to reach out to, I don't know, someone who's confirmed, like, yeah, sorry. And I'm like, and they sent me a t-shirt, a Box Nation t-shirt, signed by Carl Frampton, saying, thanks for the memories, or how do you feel now, or something like that. Every time I did an interview with Coogan or whoever it was, he'd phone Coogan and say, come to our office now. And they would hit me with a barrage of stuff.
So really, he's given you strength?
I think so.
What do you talk about now at dinners?
Boxing. You know, I mean,
I always knew you'd get
I
up.
think it was like the turning point was Turki Alalshikh brought us together reluctantly, and we sort of said to each other, look, all right, look, here's what it is, let's get on with it. And obviously Frank knows a huge amount about boxing. He's been watching it longer than me. But he said that as well. He's like, actually, you know, I was surprised how much you knew about boxing. But even when I was 13, 18, 22, I never wanted to be a promoter, boxing promoter. But I was there when my dad's rowing with Mickey Duff in Hong Kong. And it's a subconscious education that you can't buy.
It's really in your DNA, isn't it?
Yeah,
I mean, it is.
And I don't know, it's my weirdest talent is the ability to go to a press conference. I've not read one note, and sit down and talk about 8 fights, including 4-round fighters with Mexicans, and just tell you about the fight.
I can't see you ever getting out of this sort of work, whether it's boxing or whatever. You said, oh, I'll see AJ through or whatever. Now you've got 100-odd fighters and more. Where do you go?
I think, I'll be honest, like when I'm at my happiest is when I have got a brilliant show and, you know, it's packed and the press conference is packed. And I love bringing young fighters through. That's one of my favourite parts of the journey. My popularity is the wrong word, but is so vast across kind of generations now. They all know me from TikTok, right? It's not like back in the day when you do an interview and, I don't know, like might pop up on Sky Sports News in front of 25,000 people. This is like, oh, that's had 25 million views. Frank Smith posted a video of me eating a sandwich at the airport. How many? 5 million. 5 million views on Twitter.
Do you love that? Or do you?
I've got to be honest, like, I think that I will never complain because I always wanted to be a star. I mean, that's why, it was the whole idea. You know what the plan was. How do we build not just the brand of our fighters and Matchroom, but how do we build the brand of Eddie Hearn? You have to ask yourself, why are they in the space? Mm-hmm. And the answer is because boxing's red hot. You know, I saw your stuff with TalkSport. I agree so badly with the whole boxing's broken. I think boxing's in the best place it's ever been. You know, the governing bodies do a great job in building profile of fighters, and you have to understand
opportunities. Ring Magazine, great, Bible of Boxing, getting that.
But the Ring Magazine belt has always been the most important belt to a fighter, probably, but also the recognition of the best. Now, with Turkey behind it, it's going to go to a new level. But the league, we need to know a lot more about the league. But the conversations that I've had with fighters who have been approached by the league or signed by the league, I think it's very different to what some people expect it to be. This is exciting prospects, fringe guys that will fight anyone. They want to be able, but they don't want to have conversations with managers and agents negotiating each fight. You can never control boxing because boxing is out of control. Right? Someone's coming along. A new broadcaster, a new promoter, someone with money. It's too attractive not to. The league, I don't know. Will we put fighters in it? Will they want us involved? Will we want to be involved? I don't know. In MMA, Dana has really no wars to fight. In boxing, you know, you wake up, he's saying this about you, he's done a video, you got clapback Thursday over here. It's like, you know.
Well, I've got you with me. Ready to fight fans, obviously big supporters of Oleksandr Usyk. What do you think is the secret behind his success, I guess, as a champion and as a class ambassador for sport?
I think it's a God-given talent, you know. I mean, I think, and his faith is extremely strong. He did most of that on foreign soil in fighters' backyards when he beat them, you know. But mentally, I think he has such an incredible edge on people. And Fury is, or outside of Usyk, is the best in terms of the trash talk and the mind games. And he done a job on him, really, I think, in that respect. You know, Usyk. And Klitschko was a guy that was built out of control. He had to control his opponent.
Usyk's saying he's going to have 2 more fights, whether it's Dubois, whether it's Parker, whoever it is. Do you think he'll retire undefeated?
Honestly, and it's so difficult because he's just coming off probably 2 of his greatest victories. I think he should retire. If he beats Joseph Parker, so what? Parker's on an unbelievable run and he's going to be a handful for anyone. You know, like when you're in the career, you never give someone the credit that they deserve. Definitely top 10 greats in the sport, Oleksandr Usyk, to do that at cruiserweight and at heavyweight. But you could go and get beat, and that would be quite sad. But that's the gamble of the game. But part of me would like to see him retire. because I think he would just go down.
If not a boxing promoter, what career would you have chosen?
Used car salesman, photocopiers. I don't know. No, I would have gone into the money markets. I was working in sports management, representing golfers on the European and PGA Tour, rugby players.
Poker table with all the
poker, yeah. So,
if you could be the promoter for any boxer, past or present, who would it be?
I'll go with Mike Tyson.
What's the weirdest or most unexpected fan interaction you've ever had?
Probably signing someone's T-shirt or shirt. I just find that so bizarre. I mean, firstly, why would you want me to sign a T-shirt or your shirt that you're wearing on a night out?
If your life is a 12-round fight, which round do you think you're in right now and
question.
who's winning?
I want to live till I'm 90, so I'd have to say 6th round, but I reckon I'm a little bit deeper. I reckon I'm in round 8, and we've had a tremendous first half. But, you know, maybe the potential's there for the fight to change, but unlikely.
If you could change one rule in boxing, what would it be?
That if the gum shield comes out, it goes back in at the end of the round. I hate it when a fight gets stopped in a flow for a gum shield or tape.
Finally, if you had to describe your career in one word, what would it be?
Blag. Who knows how I did it?